I appreciate that. We're open to input as we go. You know, we knew, again, we did Bucktown Bash out here a few times, and the Blessing of the Fleet, and, you know, that really kind of got us started on how do we make sure this works for the community. You know, it has to be our backyard. And so we're always open to input in that regard, too, as we go. Yes?
Yes, so first of all, a lot of great work on this. You know, thanks to the whole group that was responsible for it. A lot of good things there. I live in the neighborhood. I'm right across the levee, so you know, I'm looking forward to it. A couple of suggestions / questions.
Yes.
There's quite a large number of areas for performances that the gentleman mentioned as he went through this, including a sound stage that's pretty close to the levee there. You know, one suggestion or question is, are there any provisions being put in place to try and direct that sound away from the neighborhood?
Well,
right now, there's already an issue. You know, kids show up in that parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning, stereos blasting, and so, you know, sound abatement for adjacent neighborhoods.
So the answer is yes. There are. It's more in the programming of it and what's allowed. The bandstand that's close to the levee would, you know, is conceived to really be an acoustical thing. You know, where it's not amplified. It's just it's a place where you may have like I say, a little acoustical jazz or acoustical group doing a performance as part of a bigger you know, event that would take place at the Pearl. The Pearl is as far away as we can get. We've you know, projecting the sound north, so they may hear it in Madisonville, but you won't hear it. You won't hear it there. And then the Sunset Stage is really again more of a it's not going to have the production value that's necessary for a really loud you know, event. It's really more of a quaint deal that, you know, we may have the movies and stuff there, but of course it's east-west oriented, so it's not going back. So we did consider all that, and you know, really the bandstand, we call it a bandstand. It's not. It's the pavilion that's there, but there is the ability to utilize that for a small, you know, type gathering that would, but again, we wouldn't allow amplified music, you know, in that particular spot. So.
Yeah. Just that, again, I think it is important. Joey pointed all the sound from the largest gathering area that we would use for like a Bucktown Bash, pointed toward the lake rather than at the neighborhood. And I know Sharon Hanahan with JBI is here, and they're working on the community garden as well as other JBI members. I see a bunch of you. So we had the first annual Sunset on the Boardwalk event. Y'all had a little band that was in that one shelter, you know, for a few hours while they had wine and cheese and the event went on, and then, you know, and then it's done. So that's the kind of things we envision. So again, everything is pointed in the opposite direction, and that's what we, you know, that's what we intended, so that the sound largely is going out toward the lake rather than, you know, at the neighborhood.
My second question /
Yes.
suggestion, yeah, is there any provision put like a closing time for this facility, especially when all of these great new things is going to be very, you know, appealing to lots of people, and you know, most parks have some kind of cutoff time where they're closed.
That's something. And I know Leo with our recreation department and Mario are here. I've talked to them recently because, again, in a few regards, we always have to have access available for the Coast Guard station. So we're going to have to work with them so that if there's any gate or anything, they always have to be able to have access 24/7. So it is different in that respect, in that we can't close it off like some of our facilities because the Coast Guard is here. So we'll have to work with them to ultimately see what's possible. I have already talked with the recreation department about maybe having some nighttime patrols. You know, maybe we need a JPSO detail that's out there overnight so that they're not doing donuts in the parking lot. I know right now, you know, that's happening all over. I mean, it was happening on a major street in New Orleans. So I've already had that conversation that I don't want that to happen. And so if we need to have some details, then we need to budget for that and make sure that there's someone there making absolutely certain something like that's not going to happen at night. So we're having those conversations. Leo, you want to add anything?